This is a video for the Tmua paper 2 from 2018, I think. 2019, sorry. Tmua 2019 paper 2, question 19. Now, this is a fiddly old question, and I've done it a couple of different ways and thought about what is the best way to recommend for students to do. And I actually think with a question like this, depending on whether you can see something straight away, you can sometimes do a bit of an approximation. Because the square roots symbol like that defines it as the positive square root, we can say straight away that the answer has to be positive. We know this is greater than 0. So therefore, straight away, we know it's not C. D is less than 0, so it's not D. And 26 minus 4 root 2, it might not be obvious if that's less than 0 or not. So what you want to compare is root 26 squared with 4 root 2 squared. So root 26 squared is obviously 26. 4 root 2 squared is going to be 32. And clearly, therefore, 4 root 2 is bigger than root 26. And so that's negative as well. So therefore, we've only really got 3 options. Now, if you think about simplifying this square root, unless they work out to be nice integers, it's unlikely you're going to be able to reduce it to a single square root like this. In fact, I don't even know what I'm on about with that integer statement. Ignore that, but you're not going to be able to factorize into a single square root like this. So you kind of A is very suspicious straight away, which leaves us with E and G. If you then kind of approximate what these are, well, this one is root 2 is approximately 1.4. It's actually a bit more than that. So we can say root 2 is bigger than 1.4. Therefore, this first root, if we think of that, that's 9 minus 4 root 2. Because root 2 is bigger than 1.4, that is less than 9 take away 4 times 1.4. And that is going to be equal to 4 times 1.4 is 2.8, 5.6, so 3.4. So we can say 9 minus 4 root 2 is less than 3.4. We can also say 9 minus, and it's not going to be much less than 3.4, but a little bit. So then the second third, which is 17 minus 12 root 2. Well, 12 root 2 is going to be 14, 16.8. So this is less than 0.2, which is pretty small. But the square root of 3 it's not going to be 1, just because the approximation we've used isn't that far off. So it's not going to be 1. So it's almost certainly 2 or this one here. But even 4 root 2 minus 4, well, that's going to be bigger than 4 times 1.4 take away 4. So we can say 4 root 2 minus 4 is greater than 1.4, 2.8, 5.6, 1.6. So that's a little bit bigger than 1.6, which isn't a complete giveaway, but we've reduced the answer quite a bit there. Now, and the way that I've actually done, the first way I tried to do this was by thinking, well, why have they written it as 8 and 1 separately? Why not just write 9 minus 4 root 2? Because these questions are so contrived, I thought it must be something to do with that. And then I thought, well, we've got 2 options that are integers. Maybe what's in this square root is actually the result of something squared. So if we call that first, let's call that 1, call that 2. 1 is going to be the same as the square root of, and because that's a root 2 there, 8 actually, and we've got 8 in both of them, 8 can be written as 2, the square root of 8 is 2 root 2, so I can rewrite the 8 as 2 root 2 squared, and then I've got 4 root 2 plus 1, plus root, and then we've got 3 squared minus, plus 2 root 2 squared minus 12 root 2. Now, that's nice because you can see, if we think of this as remembering a plus b squared is going to be a squared, actually it would be minus, a minus b squared is going to be a squared plus b squared minus 2ab. That means, this should have been 2 here. There we go. And therefore 1 ends up being square root of 2 root 2 minus 1 squared. And the second root is the root of 3 minus 2 root 2 squared. And so obviously the root and the square are inverse functions, so we just end up with 2 root 2 minus 1 plus 3 minus 2 root 2, which just equals 2. And so the answer is E. The important thing here is to really focus on why have they chosen these numbers, and remind yourself just how contrived these questions are. Look for some sort of pattern. 8 is a power of 2, 9's a square number, 1's a square number. So it's sort of it is bringing you into this idea of a minus b squared. Any issues with that, do let me know.